So much pressure.
Hey, everybody, look at all of my friends that I have here today. Got so many people, Remax people, some love and support. Got Colleen from Buffalo, New York.
Go Bills. Sorry.
That's for her. Got Andrea from Fayetteville, Sanford area. Got Stacy from Winston-Salem, Greensboro. Got Mandy over there from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Super excited to have everybody. And I do want to tell everybody real quickly, for one thing, if you cannot hear me or us, please chime in and let us know. We do have these little microphones, but I am not 100% sure that it is translating. So just make sure if you can't hear us, let us know. But it was funny because I had Colleen. So tell us how this started. Tell me, Colleen.
Okay. So you sent out an email saying who wants to be on my show this year. And you had a date of today, and I knew I was going to be an hour and a half away and said, what if I came and did the show in person? Have you ever done a show in person? And you're like, I'm not from my office. So I invited myself to Jennifer's office to come do her show. And that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And then Mandy's an hour and a half
In the other direction, right?
Correct.
and wanted to get together with me. So I'm like, well, do you want to do dinner? Jennifer and I didn't talk about dinner. Come to dinner with me. I'll invite Jennifer to dinner. Then I invite you to dinner and you invite Mandy to the show. So now we've got a party of 3.
And then I posted it on social media. And that's where Andrea was like, hey, I want to come. And I'm like, come on. And she's like, seriously? Okay, let me call Stacy.
And here we are.
And here we are. Yes. So super, super excited to have everybody here. But super fun just talking about market updates and what we saw ending up with 2023. Any of those messages so they can't hear me? Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. And if y'all have any questions or want to chime in, please do so. I have got Grayson up there. You can't see her, but she is reading everything to us so we can see any comments that you have. But during a quick 2023, end of the year, beginning of 2024, market update for all the prospective areas. So who wants to start it?
I think you do.
Okay, I will start. So what we saw in our market, in the Wilmington, North Carolina market, is that things have started to level off. Prices are still going up, but they're going up at about 2.5%, which is pretty normal growth, right? Not crazy where it was, 2 years ago when we had 29%, but we are still seeing positive. Days on the market have gone up a little bit, but not much. They're like 34 days on the market. There's your husband. 34 days on the market. So still things are selling pretty quickly, and that's from listing to closing. And then, our inventory is still low. So we still only have 2 months of inventory out there. So we are seeing things still going crazy, really. And the interest rates have been dropping and are projected to drop again. So that's also adding to the influx of real estate. So super excited. Now I got us started.
All right.
So
Let's roll.
That's
Go
right.
next, since
Yeah.
I'm the closest
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
So I know we're close, but we're a different market because VA. So we
So
are.
to be clear, she's an hour northwest. Correct.
Yep, on the coast.
Yeah.
So days on market, we're seeing higher days on market currently. Obviously, just the interest rates, it slowed down a lot. Absorption rate, though, we're still at 2.23 of months. So we don't have a lot of inventory. So we're still seeing buyers consistent. I mean, honestly, and pendings are still consistent even from a year ago. Interest rates for VA are obviously a little bit lower, I think.
Yeah.
So we're at like 5.6, 5.8. Prices were up like 5% from a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's
So you're
still
seeing
going up.
similar. Your prices are still going up. Your
Yep.
days on the
Yep.
market
Yep.
taking a little bit longer, but still pretty.
Well, and pendings are still about the same.
Yeah.
So it's still, people are consistently looking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And be clear, it is supply and demand. So the prices are not going to go down until the inventory goes up, right?
Way
And so
up.
once interest rates go down, and they're projected to do that twice more this year, you're going to find that buyer frenzy again, which is going to drive the prices up even more. So it's not a time to wait in real estate, right? So what do you see,
Perfect.
Miss Stacy?
So we are still seeing in the Greensboro, Winston-Salem market, our average days on market, for instance, in January, we were 19 days on the market. That's it. Okay. In December, we actually shifted to 16 days on market.
Wow.
So we are still rapidly selling. Our sales price to list price ratio in December, buyers are still paying 99% of list price. So back in May of 22, which I think is really when we all agree the crazy frenzy really was, sellers were getting at least 102 to 103%. Now we're seeing 99, which is still not bad.
That's good.
Sellers are realistically knowing that prices need to adjust, right? You know, I mean, they're not going to get this feeding frenzy that they had, but we are still
They
seeing
lost that market.
that's right. That market's gone. But you know, when we look at the value of properties, like that's a huge thing. People have so much equity that they didn't have before. So I pulled the data back in January of 20. So that was as we were starting to go into COVID, right? My average MLS, $106 a square foot.
Wow.
Okay. 21, it went from 106 to 121.
Wow.
Okay. Then it went another year later to 147 a foot. And the end of December, we settled in at 165 a foot. So when you look at price per square foot, we went from 106 3 years ago to $165 a square foot.
Okay, I'm not good at math.
There's a lot of equity there. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's a lot. Okay. It's a lot of equity.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
So anybody who bought pre 2020 and even 2020 is really in our market your hiccup. You are sitting on beautiful equity right now.
Yep.
So, you know, if a life change happens and you need to sell, you should still be sitting fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, foreclosures, they're a thing of the past.
Yeah,
They really are. I actually pulled the data. In my market, we have in Greensboro, 3 in December, 4 in Winston-Salem or Forsyth County, Guilford County, and we have 21 in our whole entire market. So there's equity. The people have equity in their houses. They're paying cash, you know, stuff like that. So we're still in a very strong market.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I'll come back to you because now I don't remember what it was. Somebody said, it triggered a question.
That's okay.
I'll think about it.
That's okay.
Colleen, what are you seeing in Buffalo, New York?
So
A lot of snow.
A lot of snow.
Blizzard
obviously-
right now, right? Didn't you say?
It didn't have a blizzard. Technically, the winds weren't high enough, long enough. But if anyone is watching this, clearly you're not watching the football game. But if you look at pictures of the football stadium, they had 71 people show up to shovel it out. There's still a lot of snow in those seats for people. They're cold right now. Fools for sitting there. But that is our snow belt in Buffalo. So that is considered south of the city of Buffalo, Orchard Park. They had about 3 feet of snow. I have maybe a foot at my house looking at my camera. So if you move to the area, I can tell you where to avoid the snow for starters. And it's a question I ask people, like, how much do you like snow? Because we can kind of move and go where historically the weather patterns are a little bit better. We've just been rated on a couple of websites for the top place to move last week. I think it was like maybe Zillow or Market Watch had Buffalo as like the best city to invest in, which is probably going to make my phone ring next week with investors just wanting to buy. We also were ranked last week for first-time homebuyers. One of our suburbs, Cheektowaga, not in the snow belt. They were rated one of the top 10 cities in the U.S. Also, there's a city in Rochester, which is an hour from Buffalo, and a city in Syracuse. So,
To be clear, you cannot make me move to New York.
that's okay.
Snow.
I'll visit you here. You don't have to visit me. Or come in the summer. Come visit in the summer. It's beautiful. So we have 4 seasons, which a lot of people love, which is why they'll move to Buffalo. We've never been 100 degrees. So we don't have that extreme heat, which also people love. So it's a great place to visit in the summer. Don't necessarily visit in the winter unless you want to be in the snow. So we have an extreme lack of inventory. Right now, we have a 1.7 month supply of homes for December 22. If I go back to December 23. December 22, we had a 1.5 month supply. You're like, oh, that's a big difference. Nope, 10 homes. That's the swing.
Wow.
We had 1,437 homes in 23. We had 1,427 for sale in 22. So that is not enough inventory. 6 months is considered a balanced market, maybe 4 to 6 months. We are far from that. Our list price to sale price ratio for this year for December was 103.4%.
Wow.
And so that
So you're still having that aggressive multiple offer, raising the price. You know?
Correct. I listed a house the week before Christmas. My client did not take the highest price. He took the cleanest offer. And to him, it made more sense to go over asking price, a safer bet, than a riskier offer going into the holidays. And he was moving out of state. So that was just before the holidays. So it's our slower time of year right now. We had driving bans over the weekend, so probably won't have a lot of new inventory this week come on the market.
It's a driving ban.
A driving ban is where they say in the county that you cannot drive. Like essential
Never heard of
person.
that.
Oh, you've never had that? No.
We have
Maybe we-
evacuation orders.
Yeah.
for everything.
That's what we
I
get.
mean, it would be like a stay-at-home order. Like
Yeah.
they say no unnecessary travel.
It's like the COVID from
Yeah,
3
that's
years
exactly
ago where you
what I was
couldn't leave.
thinking. Yeah. Are you an essential worker or not?
Yeah.
right. So essential workers can technically still drive, but the winds were blowing and the snow was blowing so much the visibility was down to like 0. So if you can't see where you're going, you don't want to
You
be
don't wanna go
driving,
anywhere.
which is
Mhm.
why the football game was postponed. I do agree that was the right decision, watching cameras and photos. But yeah, basically they couldn't drive. So there's still one small town that has a driving ban because the snow was so concentrated there, they just couldn't clean the roads fast enough. There's schools that are closed already for tomorrow. Again, more in that snow belt. My husband joked that we, lived in the wrong area as kids because we lived north of the city. We'd always had school. The south kids still had school. So, as a 10-year-old, you don't always want to go to school.
Okay, to be clear, let's give a shout out to Jason. Where is he right now?
He is sitting in the parking lot in the back of the complex, in his car streaming the Bills game because we committed to coming here before the game was
He's
postponed.
such a good sport.
He is a good sport. Yeah, he had the option to stay back at the villa we rented, but he decided he didn't want to stay alone. We're staying about an hour and a half from here. So he's sitting in his car. He doesn't see this. He doesn't know this is happening. If anyone is watching that has Jason's number, text him and tell him we gave a shout out. And I will buy him dinner after the show. So
With all of us.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're all
yeah,
guys.
he's gonna come
Yeah.
and have dinner with all of you guys. So if he's still staring at his phone, it's because he's watching the game. It's not that he doesn't want to see you. I'll go back to our stats a little bit. So in December of this year, our average sale price was $269,550 for the average price. In December 22, the average sale price was $246,299. So that's our average price. So for $250, $260 right now, you're getting like a 1,200 square foot Cape Cod with a full basement, which we will often finish, bath and a half in like a nicer suburb, and probably some like newer kitchen, bathroom remodels have been done to it. We don't have a lot of new construction in my market because the price is just so high for starting at new construction. Starts probably around like 600 for one of the bigger builders. So we mostly have existing homes for sale.
So interesting that a lot of New York people, when they move down here, ask me about basements. So we don't have basements. It's very, very rare to find a basement. I believe that's because we're at sea level.
Sure.
But what I was told, y'all might know something else, but what I was told that we started doing these frogs, which is a finished room over the garage,
Okay.
when there was an influx of New Yorkers moving to Wilmington in like the late 1990s, early 2000s,
Mhm.
and everybody wanted that extra room. They wanted that basement space.
Sure.
So the builders added this frog to give them that extra space. So funny enough, so fast forward like 2 years ago, one of my New York clients, I'm calling it a frog, and I'm like, it's the finished room over the garage. And they're like, does this house have it? I'm like, what? And they're like, that reptile room. And I'm like, what? A reptile room? What the hell are they talking about? But it was the frog. So I don't call it a frog anymore, to be clear, because I was
Yeah,
like,
I know.
the extra room.
So you don't normally finish the space over the garage?
No, it would have been an attic space prior.
Or nothing.
Yeah, or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we have a lot
Yeah.
of like bedrooms, like in our newer like 80s, 90s homes, they'll finish that as just regular living space.
Yeah.
Like my office at home is like technically over my garage. Like 1.5 of my bedrooms are over the garage.
So ours, most of them, not most of them, a lot of them now will have it.
Okay.
But anything like in the 80s, you didn't see it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Do you
was
guys have basements?
No.
See, we
Not
don't
very
have
often.
many, and I've always been told it's because of our
Yeah.
soil.
Yeah.
Because it's that red clay
Oh.
that does not drain well. So when I work with people coming from the north, they're always like, where's my basement? I was like, you really don't want a basement.
You're on a
Yeah.
They are
slab.
Yeah,
not
that's right.
You're on
good
a
thing.
slab.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
wait, what's that?
Yeah, that's right.
But if you
have
had
a basement,
with
yeah.
the
water.
basement,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
If you get a
Water.
basement, it needs to be a walkout,
Musty.
full daylight,
Yes, yes.
finished, not.
So
Not
some of our
storage.
older neighborhoods here, some of downtown Wilmington, some of Forest Hills will have basements, but guarantee you 100% will have the pumps pump out the
pump,
water.
yep.
Yep, because it's going to hold water.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me, Andrea. Tell me about Fayetteville, Sanford area.
All right. So our market has held really pretty steady, I would say. There were a lot of markets, luxury markets that kind of were hit pretty hard last year. I mean, yes, we saw a slowdown like towards the end, third quarter, fourth quarter, but I don't feel like because of our price point, like I don't feel like we got, that complete hit the wall kind of thing. So, I mean, in December 2023, our median sales price was 360 in the entire MLS. So our entire MLS covers about 8 counties. And we're looking at an absorption rate of about 2.9 as of December, which is normal. December is kind of a slower time. Things are going to sit on the market, a little bit. But in December of 2023, we have less than 2,800 new listings come to the market to service the Fort Bragg greater area. I mean, that's just not a lot. And so I went back and actually looked, because in July of 2023, we had over 9,000 new listings hit the market in July of last year. So to put that in perspective, that having only 2,800
not very much
hit the market is
Holy
not
cow.
a lot. So it doesn't help with the 2.9 month, absorption rate on there. So I looked at the MLS today, and we have just over 1,400 active listings total in our MLS right now. And 600 of those it's about 600, 800 split. 600 is new construction, 800 is resale.
Wow, that's a lot of new construction.
That we do. And I will say that I feel like we do have a unique environment right now that it shocks a lot of people, that we have new construction that's actually sitting on the market. We have new construction that has been done since October or November of last year. It is ready for a buyer to walk in and move in. I mean,
now, why do you think that's sitting? Do you have any idea?
Well, so Fayetteville is, it's a unique area, and Fayetteville has kind of started to run out of some spaces, so they've branched out to like some of these smaller towns that are, say, maybe Parkton or Eastover or Stedman. And I personally feel like the builders are maybe kind of going into a slightly dangerous territory because they're buying into areas like Sampson County. There's a lot of things that are not very desirable to build neighborhoods around, such as large agricultural farms that don't maybe smell very well. I'm trying to be very careful how I word this so I don't get in trouble, but you'll see a beautiful brand new neighborhood selling in the 300s, 350s, and you just pan out you zoom out just one time and you see what's on either side, and you're like, all right, maybe we should wait to visit this place in July.
Hot and stinky.
When it's nice and hot.
That's right.
So I think that's, I don't want to say that that's why all the new construction's sitting, but I think that there is some that they're just building in less desirable areas because it was a land grab. And they got the land, but didn't really forward think a lot of things.
I've seen that a lot in Jacksonville with new construction too. Like they just grabbed the land and it's like not a desirable location.
So is it further from like conveniences, like your grocery store is too far away?
So I mean, it is a little further from some of the conveniences, but around the Fayetteville area, we have our 295 loop that's coming in and it's being finished, which is also another thing that leads to buying property on that side of Fayetteville, is because they literally are like almost cutting into neighborhoods. I mean, they went from having, fences that maybe went 100 feet behind their house to, I'm not even kidding you, 15 feet.
Wow.
I mean, you will drive down one street and you'll see where the new fences are put in, and you see where their old fence was. And, so there's a lot of that sort of things, or some of those things that were in the works, or, it just, so there's a lot of things that we have to pay attention to. As agents, we have to pay attention to things that are planned for 6 years down the road.
That's part of our job.
It is
to
part of our
educate
job.
the public.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But your prices are still going up, it sounds like.
Yeah, our prices are still going up. I mean, in January of last year, they were $340. I mean, they did peak in July. The median sales price was $397, and it's $360.
Wow.
So, I mean, while it is a decline, I mean, July was our peak for our MLS. I mean, so it just makes sense that we have
the decline.
That you're going to see the decline in December.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a $360 median price point in our MLS is.
I didn't realize you guys were that high.
Yeah.
We are 284 for our MLS. I just would not have thought Fayetteville was that.
That I feel like
Much
is a lot
higher.
of new construction has contributed.
Well,
to
that's
that.
why it's sitting maybe too. So.
Right. A lot of our new construction is, I mean, it 400 and above, and it may not be in the. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and one thing we didn't prepare, but I know that looks like everybody that's saying hey and chiming in, mostly agents. So I want to do real quickly, what is like one form of business if you don't mind sharing, which I did not prepare y'all to do. So if you do mind sharing, then just don't share. But one form of business that really gave you good business in 2023. And then is there anything, so I know each year I try to add one thing onto the new year, not necessarily this game changer, but something that I think will bring 5 to 10 more closings for the team. So what did you do in 2023 that you're like, that was good? And are there any things that you want to add in 2024? And I know everybody's probably going, holy shit, what is she doing? So, for instance, this year I've added expired listings. So I've never really had to add that in a long time. We just haven't seen that, but I'm starting to see a little bit of them now. So that is one thing that I've added this year that I've actively started doing. Last year, probably my number one source of business was honestly this group, doing these lives, just getting to know agents, truly connecting with agents across the world, predominantly across the United States, but we do have some in Canada that I know. I don't know anybody in Italy, or maybe y'all do, but we have agents.
They show up at our fort.
Yeah,
That's as much as we know.
Yeah. Man, I don't speak that language. I wish I did, because they are super cute too. But anyway, so this show brings me a lot of business, connecting with the other agents, agent to agent referrals. Most of my business, most of my business, well, 100% of my business is referrals and past clients and sphere of influence. But a lot of the people that are moving to our area, they're buying a second home or they're retiring from all your areas, especially in New York.
Yeah.
Because they want to get away from the cold, and our taxes are way cheaper.
I was going to say in Texas.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody from New York yesterday, and I was like, as long as it stays cold and the taxes stay cheap here, people still come. I got a job. But so, and if you don't mind sharing, whoever wants to start, what you did in 2023 and what you want to add in 2024.
I'll start. I mean, this is something that I've definitely talked about this a lot. So in 2023, I mean, much like you and all of us, with the referring and with the networks. And so, I mean, I'm going into my 6th year in real estate. So I've just finished up my 5th year in real estate. And so understanding and networking at the events has been something that it was very much of a learning curve to me, and making the most effective use of your time while at those events. I made sure that, the conference like luxury last year, the RE/MAX luxury conference, was a non-negotiable for me. And from that, I gained so much, so those smaller conferences, these were impromptu, random get-togethers. We just spend, one night a day. We walked on the beach. We walked around Carolina Beach, that kind of stuff has really helped. Last year I closed 14 agent referrals, and 10 or 11 of those, I believe it was 10, were RE/MAX agent alone. So, I mean, and those are agents that I've worked with before and in the past and stuff. So, I mean, agent referrals is just something that it's just there. I mean, you just have to understand
interesting,
it.
like you've been in the market, you've been in real estate 6 years. I've been in it 17 years, and I didn't know until 3 years ago that this was a thing. So I'm like, holy cow. So, like, my number one source of business last year, how in the hell was I in business so long without realizing how important those connections truly are.
Well, and if I can chime in, kind of piggybacking on that, yes, it's these relationships, but it's not just getting a referral from you or to you or, whatever. It's also learning how you do your business.
Right.
Like, and especially 4 of us are in the same state. So we have the same contracts, the same laws, stuff like that. To where, how do you handle due diligence fee? How do you handle repairs? How do you market stuff? Yeah. I think that just learning from each other has been so important too. Not just who's sending the referrals back and forth, but what can I learn and pick your brain on too.
Absolutely. And I think it's like these kind of things, because if you could pick one thing, one little nugget that you could take back and you could use in your business to bring you a few extra,
100%.
And it's helpful. And that's the reason, who I was talking to. I was talking to you about luxury earlier. And I told you I brought my daughter Grayson with me because she is starting a marketing company. And she does all of my marketing for me. And if anybody has noticed my marketing changing drastically in the past 2 years, it is because of her doing a magnificent job. But I took her to luxury just to pick everybody's brain and to learn how to help elevate me as well as other agents that she'll be working for. Yeah. So other than these, is there anything else? What else brought you business?
Honestly, my referral business was very heavy last year. I want to say it was over 60% of my business.
That's awesome.
And the rest of it was, repeat clients and that sort of thing. So this year, my focus is to like really go back to just, like I said, I've only been in business 5 years, going on 6. There's a lot of things that I didn't put into place at the beginning because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
COVID happened. It wasn't, let's be serious. Like there was a lot of things.
We didn't have to work in 20. We worked, but we didn't have to beg for business.
Right.
For sure.
And so my thing is reconnecting with those clients,
That's what I was going to recommend to you.
Yes. I want to reconnect with the clients. I've already started with a few different like office events that we had at the end of last year, inviting them to come, making like small individualized gifts for them, doing some pop-by ideas. And so this year, my goal is to host 2 client events.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm really nervous, but
I can help you. We
We'll
do
do
like
it.
48 in there, so I would love to help you in any way.
I would love it.
And another, have you ever used HomeBot?
I don't, but I do have a lender that uses that, and a lot of really great feedback comes from that because it's like $25 a month or
For
something.
500 of your past clients.
Yes.
But it's very user friendly, and it's for anybody that's bought. And you can, as a homeowner, you can say, if I pay extra $500 towards principal a month, how does that affect the longevity of my loan? If I want to put $60,000 and upgrade my kitchen, how's it going to affect the value of my home? So it really is user friendly.
Yeah.
And it allows the homeowner can play around with it, so they can make sure they're not wasting money whenever they do improvements to their home. But it is really good.
And I've gotten it from like one of my lenders from an investment property that we purchased, but I noticed with another lender who was switching from some other source to a HomeBot or something, and like I saw on their comments there were clients that were like of hers that were like, hey, did you send out that HomeBot email this month, or like did it not go out? So they're paying attention. They're opening it. It's very much.
That would be a good thing for you to reconnect with your clients.
Completely agree.
Yeah, because that would give you a good reason to call them and say, hey, I just got the system. I've set you up on it. This is how you use it.
Yeah.
And it's super easy and cheap. Okay, Colleen, or anybody. I don't want to.
Okay, I'll go next. That's fine. So I'm a solo agent. Unlike you, I'm not on a team, or I don't run a team. So last year I did.
Are you picking on me?
No. My business model is a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did 44 closed transactions last year.
Yay, that's awesome.
And about 50% of my business is agent-to-agent referrals. So I'm being more intentional about like, I'm traveling this week, reaching out to you, reached out to an agent in Myrtle Beach, hopefully going to a couple more events in the area. So I'm kind of being more intentional when I travel in incorporating a little more work. So I call it a workcation because like I'm still working. I have friends at home that are showing. So anyone needs to see a house, you're still getting in this week. Don't worry. As long as there's no driving ban, which means no driving anywhere. We don't make the rules. We follow them. So yeah, just being a little more intentional about meeting people. And I've been licensed for 18 years. My business model changed just before 2020. I switched offices and made a couple other changes. And then doing that and adding in the agent-to-agent referrals, my business like doubled.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm still, past clients and everything like that. I only had one client that I didn't know last year from some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
That was like, they clicked on a link on the website and got to me.
Yeah.
That was only one of my buyers last year.
So I do buy leads, but I give those leads out to the team. I don't take any of the realtor.com or website leads. All of mine is clients, past clients, sphere of influence, and agent to agent.
Yeah.
But client events, we do an Easter egg hunt that is really, really good that everybody seems to love. And so I have adult Easter eggs that, to be clear, I was going to put airplane bottles in, but then I had a client tell me this horrible story of when she was 5 years old, opening it and not realizing what it was and drinking it and had alcohol poisoning. So at the last minute I changed.
You just get a ticket to come pick up your alcohol.
Yeah.
Airplane bottle.
Show ID when you come.
Yeah, exactly. But I ended up just getting gift cards out for the adults. But it was good. It was a good one. And then we did the pie event in November. I think a lot of agents do that.
Yeah.
But that is a good one. And then last year, maybe 2 years ago, when Avatar first came out, we rented a movie theater, and that was phenomenal. That was really phenomenal.
Yeah.
And people seemed like that.
I've heard of great success with that.
Yeah.
I've not tried that yet, but
Yeah.
I so like that.
I did a retro movie the last 2 Christmases, rented out like an old fashioned movie theater. And then I have a great cousin, Jason's cousin, that it was his favorite movie we did last year. It was Elf. So he dressed up as Elf, and then his wife dressed up. And then this year, I'm like, hey, would you do it again? So I bought him a Grinch costume, and he showed up. And so, like, sorry for any of the clients watching, that, like, I didn't pay the guy to come. He just did it.
Yeah.
So
He's there for a good time.
he was there for fun. And then I took a picture of everyone. I had my niece come, and she took everyone's picture, and then we mailed them the pictures so that they got, like, that takeaway from the event.
I did the same thing. So Michelle from my team that most people have met, her daughter came dressed as Avatar.
Yeah.
And then my stepsister, Jonna, her son came dressed as an Avatar. And then we got pictures of everybody who did something. It's really nice because then you get that second level of touching it, right? Because then you get really like 2 months wrapped in one.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, Stacy, talk to me.
So I did, again, I think we all agree the agent-to-agent referrals is where we all get a lot of business. But I did do my first client event last year, so that was exciting. I partnered with one of my favorite lenders, and he and I just went to a brewery, and we gave out drink tickets. It was great because I've always been fearful of doing a client event because if I invite 50 people and only 10 show up, you know, I've got wasted food. I've got very sadness in my heart that nobody came and everybody canceled. So it's been a big struggle for me. So
Fear of rejection is what I'm hearing.
absolutely. So we went and we had, I don't know, 20 or so people come, which I was thrilled with. And then some girlfriends in the office, we're all starting to collaborate. And, you know, it's like, we're not competing for the same business. So why not put our resources together? And so we have actually come up, for any of my clients that might be watching, watch out, April 28th, we'll go ahead and announce the date and make it real now. We're going back to that same brewery. There's a theme there, I guess. And we're doing pet photos. Everybody does Santa pictures. Everybody does the, you know, fall pictures, stuff like that. But people who know me know I just got a puppy, and Boone is our world. So we're going to invite people to bring their pets, and we're going to have a photographer to do the pet photos. And just like you said, it allows us to touch them, you know, because you get the picture. Now we've sent it to them, you know, we've invited them, we're there with them. So I think, you know, I'm very hopeful that will get some good luck.
You know, so I have done that 2 years in a row at Halloween.
Okay.
And we took a local shelter that was a non-kill shelter that needed some money to expand and buy supplies. And we collaborated. We had 20 vendors that all gave us a $500 basket.
Wow.
And then everybody came, and I gave 2 beer tickets.
Okay.
And everybody got pizza and beer. And then they bought the raffle tickets, and then they would put
the money went to the shelter?
100% of the money.
That's
and so
awesome.
at the end of the night, we counted up the money, and the shelter was there. And we just handed them the money, and we're able to make the announcement.
Oh, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I may need to pick your brain some more on that. April 28th is the date, but now clearly I have a lot more to do with it. So
put that on
we'll add that for next year.
Yes,
Yeah. That's
but
awesome.
it is a good idea just to get and give back.
But really, I mean, just keeping in touch, just like Andrea said, getting back to the basics, getting back to our clients, you know, I mean, they send us the referrals, and it's our way of thinking,
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
for that business.
That's
So
exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and we do really depend on our past clients referring us.
absolutely.
You know, and I mean, it's one thing for me to beg everybody for their business, but you know, if I have 1,000 past clients and everybody passes me one referral, that's a lot.
That's a lot of business.
That's a lot of business. Absolutely. Tell me about you, Mandy.
Okay, so obviously agent or agent referrals.
I'm very good
Obviously, yeah. I was intentional this past year traveling more and meeting people in person because I've met people obviously on social media and things like that, but not in person.
Yep.
So that has definitely helped a lot in that area. Most of my business is agent to agent referrals or sphere of influence. I am working on doing client appreciation this year. I do pop-bys, but I haven't done a lot of in-person.
Sounds like we
because it
all
was
get
kind
to
of-
collaborate
yeah.
together here.
Yeah, it was kind of like COVID,
Yeah.
and we're slowly working back.
Yeah.
So
start
that's
with
my
one.
focus.
Don't overdo it. Start with one, and then you can kind of grow from that. And the other thing that I've learned is consistency.
They
Right?
get to expect it. Yep.
When clients start to expect it, like they'll ask us like, hey, when are you giving away the pass this year?
Yeah.
Hey, are you still doing the pet? You know, so it needs to be consistent. So we haven't always been consistent. Actually, we're not consistent a lot, to be clear. But in the past, we've done like Valentine's Day. Last year, we gave away pizzas, heart-shaped pizzas. We didn't do it this year. 2 years ago, we had Mother's Day, gave away rose bushes. probably not doing it this year. So it's, but consistency is what I found, because then when people can expect it, then they like it. They
Yeah.
like
Makes
it and they
sense.
know it's coming.
Absolutely.
Anything that you plan to add in 2024? Homebot.
Well, home buy, yeah, and the client, a client
Yeah,
event.
that's right. Appreciation.
Yeah,
That's right.
a client event.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just being more intentional with just building those relationships back with my clients that, I'll put it on the record, the ones that I have not talked to and I haven't stayed in touch with, it's so I
Another thing is
had
interesting
my
too.
aha moment. Okay.
Yeah, you can call them
You know?
too and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry."
Mhm.
And a lot of times I'll do a card at the end of the year, especially like 2 or 3 years later when I realize that I haven't done a good job. I'll send a card that said, "Thank you, and I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, well, and that's what. So our office has a couple events that our office hosts and pays for, and they did, a Santa pictures with Santa, and so I had invited one of my most favorite clients, and she had messaged me about a week after the event. I was like, "Hey, sorry, we've been out of town. I just got home and I saw my mail and I got your card, and I'm sorry we missed the event." I said, "It's no problem. I just wanted to reach out because I miss you and Mason, her son." And I said, I just want to let you know, I'm going to do better about staying in touch with you. Like, I'm just going to own it. Like I said, I'm sorry I haven't reached out sooner.
But this is my goal for 2024.
But I'm telling you, like, my intentions are real.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, I wanted you to come and have a picture with Santa with your son over the holidays. There was no anything. I did have a small gift. I didn't put that, "Hey, if you come, like, I'll give you something small." There was none of that. It was simply an invitation to come. I just want to see you.
Yeah.
And it was nice to get that feedback that she got it. She couldn't show up. And then she recognized and just accepted. Like, she's like, "It's fine. I can do better too."
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, fair.
So I have an idea for you, maybe for all of you. So, and to be clear, I've only done it a handful of times, but it was good. I was doing it on Wednesdays and I was picking like 5 to 6 clients, and I was grouping the clients by either their age, maybe by their zip code, maybe by the age of their kids, something that I saw that they had in common. Maybe it's the fact that they like to garden, whatever it is. And I picked 5 or 6. And right next door to our business is Wendy's House of Wine, which is this old vintage home that they've made into a wine shop. And I would invite 5 people over, and you get wine by the glass. So I give everybody a little card, get their wine by the glass, and get a little appetizer over there. But the last time I did it was right before Thanksgiving, maybe in October, and all 5 of them sent me a picture at Thanksgiving together.
Oh my
Where
gosh.
they had all gotten together for Thanksgiving.
That's cool.
Because they didn't have any friends or family in the area.
Wow.
And they had
Amazing.
just
That's awesome.
That's
And
really
so
cool.
it's a really good opportunity to try to help them make friends and a good time to reconnect. And that's a small event. I think I paid $100. I didn't spend, it wasn't spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was just the time and the energy. Just take a little bit of time to organize the people and who you're going to invite. But the rewards were like amazing. It gave me cold chills. I was like, oh, they're all together like this. Well, part of me, I was like, a little bit jealous.
Why didn't you invite me? Where's my invite?
Where's the 6th person in this photo?
That's where you like superimpose yourself on Canva. You stick your head in there.
Your marketing department can do that.
Yeah, that's right. And then any advice that you want to give, like buyers and then sellers, and then that's how we'll close it out.
I was gonna say, buyers don't wait. Don't
Yeah,
wait.
I agree with
Don't
that.
wait.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for
Interest rates
prices
are gonna
to-
improve.
Prices are not going down.
No.
They're not
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Interest rates are going down.
Yeah, that's right.
But prices are not.
Yeah.
And when those interest rates go down, it's a feeding frenzy again.
That's
So
exactly right. And it is supply and demand. And everybody here, no matter if you're in New York or in different parts of North Carolina, everybody's supply is super low. Demand is still super high.
Yeah.
So, the prices are going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
I know I was going to, my oldest daughter bought a house in the end of 2019 and already has like $200,000 in equity now, which is crazy. And I was going to help Grayson. When were we looking, like 2 years ago? And then all of a sudden in like 6 months, it was like, we might have just gotten priced out of that.
Yeah. And that's hard because my kids are similar to your kids' ages.
Yeah.
And Andrea and I were talking about this. It breaks my heart that by the age of all of my children, my husband and I already owned our first house. And my kids are just because of the prices. They're just not there yet.
Yeah.
And they will be, eventually, and they know how important it is, but it is hard because, my average price is 284, yours is 3 something, you said yours is 240 something, so.
And nobody wants to live in
445.
Buffalo. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
No, I'm saying, no,
You want to live
I
there.
know, but it's just too cold.
It's just,
None of
it's
us North
hard.
Carolinians.
Yeah,
know
it's
what we
just hard
have?
because nobody, coming out of college with college debt and, your starter job, it's hard to jump in and have the down payment and have the closing costs. And sellers have not had to assist with any of that. We are starting to see that again.
Yeah,
that's
Sellers' closing costs are
Yes,
coming
they
back. So sellers, I think my advice for sellers is they need to forget what happened 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That was a bonanza for
That's
those
right.
sellers.
Yeah. And
You
that market's
can't
on.
beat yourself up. But at the same time,
But you're still getting more.
You're still getting
We're
more.
still getting a lot.
but
Yeah.
you didn't have to have your house in great
That's right.
condition. Now you have to.
That's right.
Now it's like you can't just throw it on the market and the feeding frenzy happens.
That's right.
Now it's, you have to have it in show condition, clean, smelling good, all of that stuff. So
Very important.
yeah, very
Clean out the
important.
gutters.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Do a little bit of home maintenance. to
Yeah,
get
a little
going.
bit of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Stains, clean it,
Yeah.
clean it, declutter. Holy cow. What about y'all, buyers and sellers? What advice do you give?
I agree. Buyers don't wait. If interest rates come down, the prices are just going to go up. We actually have a lot of people moving to Buffalo, but it's all for like micro reasons. And what I mean by that is I've had a lot of clients, not a lot, like maybe 5 clients over the last 3 years where one spouse is Canadian and they're settling in the U.S.
You're
because
right on the
we're
border.
I'm on the border city. So work from home, they can work anywhere, but often have to still stay in the U.S. So they settle in Buffalo so they can go visit the family for the weekend in Toronto, which is 2 hours away. And it's cheaper to live in Buffalo than it is to live in New York City. So even if they have to fly to the city once or twice a month, you're still saving so much getting a house. Had super cute clients last year, and the 5-year-old told her friends on the playground in New York City, I'm moving to a house with grass.
Oh.
And there's grass in the front yard and the back.
Oh.
Like that's what a 5-year-old
Perspective,
Yeah.
Yeah.
thinks
I get
of
it.
moving. Like she was excited, and obviously her parents did a great job prepping her for the move and why they were doing it. But yeah, the wife had family in Canada, so like it made sense to settle.
Because you were close. You told me you're close to.
I'm a border city. Like I can
Yeah.
walk to Canada, I park in the US and then walk over to Canada sometimes. I've got 4 international bridges within 20 minutes to my house, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I will go to Canada for dinner just because there's a restaurant that I like that used to be in Buffalo and now it's in Canada. So we'll just like, you want to go to dinner? Okay, yeah, let's go to Swiss Chalet.
Do you have to have your passport?
You do have to have a passport
Okay.
or an enhanced driver's license,
Okay.
or I have Nexus, which is an extra level of security. So there's one bridge that I can use that you can only have Nexus to use. You can't have just regular passports. So I can be to dinner and back in like an hour and 20 minutes if I want to, if the restaurant's not busy.
That is
So we have that. I actually had one set of clients.
Going out of the country.
But I mean, it would be like going to a different state. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
wanted to go to Virginia or you want to go to go to South
South
Carolina for
Carolina,
dinner.
little,
Like there's
yeah.
a restaurant you really like. Yeah, let's go to our favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. So the Canadian connection, I had one client who's a dear friend now that he moved here from to Buffalo from South Carolina. And now he's had 3 friends that have decided that, hey, we like what you're saying and we like what you're doing. I'm applying for a job there and work from home. One person needs a job in the relationship often. They can get the job in Buffalo and then you have the work from home.
Yes.
So with work from home, we've got a different pool of people who are now applying for jobs in our area. And a lot of people are coming and loving it. And then
Well, because they can take their income from the big cities and stuff like that and now have affordable housing.
and now
Right.
have affordable
Yep.
housing. And yes, we have snow, but we know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like I was in South Carolina last week with a tornado warning. And that was my first experience with that.
I wish you could experience a snowstorm in North Carolina or
Oh.
South Carolina.
I
We're
witnessed the run of the snow.
We are shut down for a chance of flurries.
With the tornado, after experiencing that for a day, I was just like, yeah, I'll take the snow because we know where the snow is going.
Yeah.
We know our house isn't going to be damaged. Like I know, but it's
It's
also
predictable.
it's more predictable. It may not be an exact science, but I also don't have that threat of like property destruction, but it's also what I grew up with. So I know that's like my comfort zone is
Yeah.
what I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, snows are better than tornadoes. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments. Let's have some chat here. And
I like the
snow or
interaction.
tornadoes. What do people think? What's the poll online? Anyone want to comment? Anyone watching?
Well, I wouldn't want tornadoes either, but I've never experienced a tornado.
Yeah, I have not.
So we had the warning, and then there was like a water spout that was like the next town.
I do see water
over
spouts,
Yeah.
on that. Like my phone buzzed. Luckily, a local person told me to like set my location settings so that our phones buzzed, and I was like, okay, that's we need to like pay
Not get the
attention to
buffalo
what we-
warnings.
right? Not get the buffalo warnings. So we had a plan. A great friend in Myrtle Beach said it's not like a hurricane, and I apologize if I'm quoting you wrong. It's not like a hurricane. You actually need to have a plan for the tornado warning. I said, okay, good to know. Made my plan.
So shout out to Brandy.
Shout out to Brandy. And thank you. Made us happier to know where we were going.
And to be clear, Colleen called me and said, I'm so thankful for Brandy.
Yeah.
Like she told me exactly what to do and what
Yeah.
she was asking me, and I was like, I've never had one.
But it was just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just different. But yeah, so Buffalo's got a lot of little reasons people are moving. It's not like we've got like one big factory or one big company, but it's a lot of micro reasons that people are like rediscovering or like moving back. Like they're from Buffalo, had family there, and they're realizing, hey, I don't like something somewhere else, and they're coming back to where it's comfortable for them, like where it's familiar.
Buyers, sellers, any advice? Anything different?
I think really, different. I will address the sellers, is to just definitely manage that expectation of understanding that your home may sit on the market for a little bit, a couple more days. And timing has a lot to do with things. And just because your house sits on the market for, 15, 16, 17 days, it's not time to panic and do these drastic price drops,
Definitely.
right? It's time to hold confident that we're good. We've done the market research that we're doing. We're priced exactly where we want to be. As long as you're having consistent showings, just understand that if you're going to hold firm on your price, you may end up giving up on concessions.
Yeah.
And that's still okay because we've run the numbers.
That's right.
You are still fine.
Yes.
So, I think that's one of my biggest things is just, redoing seller expectations.
Yeah. And
You know?
I usually tell sellers, if you don't have an offer within 35 days, or average days on market is 37. So if you don't have an offer in 35 days, we do need to adjust the price. If you're having consistent showings and no offers, I found at least here, you're off by price by about 5%. But if you're not having any showings, you're having
off a
no,
lot.
we're off like 10%.
Yeah.
Like we've got to drop the price. Like
Yeah.
if you're having no showings, no offers, no activity, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times too, if you have a lot of showings and no offers, it's not necessarily the price that they're combating. It's something inside the house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the condition. When they
Yeah.
walk in the house, there's something that is making them not see the value.
Well, there's also the functional obsolescence.
Yes.
The electrical wires, we can't move those that
That's
are
right.
in the backyard, stuff like that.
That's right.
But you
That's
have
a
to
big
overcome
word. What
that.
was that word?
Functional obsolescence.
Okay.
She probably learned
I
that
need to write that down. Functional
But
obsolescence.
I learned
When you
something.
can't change something about a
Yeah.
property. So, it's like if you have to go through a bedroom to get to another bedroom, that's functional obsolescence. Power lines in the back. You can't lift the house and move that.
A busy yard, a
A
busy,
busy
road.
street. I mean,
Yeah.
I tell my buyers all the time, I'm like, this house might work for you because you don't have kids that'll be playing in the front
Right.
yard. But this is a busy street. You got to think about your next buyer,
Yeah.
and they're not going to want this. And if they still say they don't care, then I'm like, well, here's a contract,
Yeah, that's
sign
right.
on.
Right.
So, but you have to be aware of that. So if we're giving you the advice of pricing or interior condition and stuff, there may still be mitigating
Something-
factors
That's right. That's a
that
good
we
point.
can't control.
No, you're
So,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay, I've learned two things. I've learned about the drive banning. the
Functional obsolescence.
all night long. I'll be like, what did you say?
Here's how I will describe it. When the local grocery stores tell you they are closing because of weather, go home and stay home.
Yeah.
The grocery stores don't close unless they have to. Or they should have not opened last week or yesterday because there was a driving ban and they shouldn't have opened in the first place.
Yeah.
So they can't get the next shift.
They should have already
gotten.
gotten their bread and milk. I
They
mean,
should have.
Yeah.
So,
It's a thing.
Jennifer, it's the equivalent of Waffle House.
Yes.
Waffle House is
Waffle House closes, it's a problem.
here. Y'all don't need to go anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
stay
Yeah.
home.
Oh, it's Wegmans. So when Wegmans says they're
We
shutting
don't
down,
have Wegmans.
I know, but it's the Waffle
great
House.
grocery
It's the
store,
Waffle
though.
House of the
It's great.
South.
It's the Waffle
Yeah.
House of the South. It's not. It's a grocery store.
Yeah, I know.
But they're not closing because because they want to. Like
Yeah.
they want to stay open.
Yeah.
They're an asset to the community. When the grocery stores are not open or decide they're not opening or they're closing early, the biggest one is closing early. Just go home.
Yeah.
Like you really don't need to be out.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
That's a good. Okay, so what's the poll going on? Snow versus tornadoes. How's that looking?
So we've got one person that said, Colleen, Buffalo needed your help shoveling out the stadium today.
Who was that? Who was that? Who was our friend?
Rich.
Frolic.
Yeah. No.
Sounds like Rich.
Yeah, definitely Rich.
And then someone updated you and said that the Bills are winning.
Thank you. So Jason will be happy when we get in the car. I
That's
was
good.
kind of curious, so thank you.
And then everyone else is kind of just saying, you guys are awesome. What you want?
Awesome. Thank you.
So cheers, ladies. Yes.
And let's go to dinner.
Cheers.
Thank you
Yes.
guys for joining
Thank you guys.
us.
This
And
was
thank
great.
y'all for making the drive down. And I mean, you were in Myrtle Beach, but you still made the drive.
Yes. Yeah.
And then everybody, I'm just.
Thanks for letting us crash the party.
Yeah. Here's to crashing the party.
I like it. That's how we
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I know.
I'm
Good with the guy.
We're gonna make a change on that real quick.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Absolutely. Okay. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
And
Thank
appreciate
you.
everybody.